Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and I wanted to swatch the last four samples that I received from Fountain Pen Insanity at a meetup that we did in, I think it was mid-November, early November, something like that. Anywho, and I also had a viewer recommend or offer up the idea of using the same cream paper from Birmingham Pen Company to swatch the two megalodons. And so I will do that at the end. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. And I am going to swatch the two and then tip that in to that same page. So we're still on our megalodon journey. All right. So I have four samples for today's swatching. They are from some different companies or makers, and I think a variety of colors. So the first one is Colorverse Hayabusa, and this one did spill, and in the process of cleaning it up, some of the text rubbed off. So if I'm reading that name incorrectly, I would love to be corrected, but I am fairly confident that is Hayabusa. And I also was thinking I may have gotten, so that might be a different one, Hayabusa 54. And I received this sample from Zen of the Pen. Yeah, it might, excuse me, it might have said 54. I will just apologize in advance. It does have that pink shimmer. I am sick again. I don't know what is going on. I don't think I have eaten anything that has triggered my autoimmune response, but goodness, I can't seem to stay healthy. And I'm getting a little frustrated at this point. So I may cough, I may sniffle. I don't know. Okay. So this is Colorverse. I will do a little storytelling, I guess. So this particular sickness has been really interesting. On Tuesday, today's Saturday, Tuesday, I received in the mail some samples of perfume from a company that is known for doing things a little bit more on the natural side. So with any perfume, there's junk in there. There's chemicals, there's yuckiness. And I don't really love putting all that junk on my skin. And after having my son, perfumes that I liked before, I could not stand the smell on my skin. So I went years without wearing perfume. And then I want to say it was 2014 or 15. I think 2014. My husband and I went on a cruise to Bermuda, and we went to the perfumery is it St. George Island? And I found a scent that I really loved called Lily Bermuda. So the perfumery is Bermuda, the scent is Lily, and it was delicious. I sprayed it on my skin, loved how it smelled right away, loved how it smelled as it sat. Even when we went back to the boat, I was talking about how clean and lovely it smelled. When we woke up the next morning, I could smell it on the sheets, and I kept talking about that. And before the end of the trip, we had a knock on our stateroom door, and one of the crew members delivered to me a bottle of Lily Bermuda. And I was asking my husband recently, how did you pull that off? And he actually said he doesn't remember. So, but that is a scent that I really love. The other scent that I love is Philosophy Amazing Grace. And I've tried some of the other Philosophy scents. I'm not too much a fan of them. So I was listening to a podcast and heard about this particular company and thought, you know what, I'll order a sample pack. And it came with 5 samples. And, so I was so excited. I gave them like a quick spray and sniff, and then selected one and sprayed it on my arm. That evening, one of my colleagues came over. We were working on putting together a training for a professional day that we recently had. Frosted Orchid. It's a really lovely color. I guess I will comment on these at the end since I'm chatty. And so over the course of the evening, I got really sneezy and sniffly, and my eyes got itchy, and my throat got scratchy, and my cheeks started to hurt. And I really was thinking, and I still kind of am, that I had an allergic reaction to this perfume. And my colleagues started sneezing as well. They have since clarified that they're allergic to cats, and my cat was quite friendly while my colleague was here. So let me just pause. This one is Colorverse Shiny Black. I think I have a bottle of this, but I could be wrong. I have, what is, let me see if I can find it really quick, and if I can't, then I can't. And just thinking, I did this sample, and I think I used, Colorverse Shiny Black right there. That's fine. I love it. Love it, love it. So I took Benadryl Tuesday evening. And goodness, I'm not a frequent Benadryl user. In fact, I don't know that I could tell you the last time I took it, but it knocked me on my bum. By 8:30, I was out like a light. And I woke up Wednesday morning and felt absolutely terrible. Just really terrible. Yeah, really terrible. And, but there was a lot of stuff at work this week that really, this was not the week that I could miss a day. So I persisted, but on the drive home from work Wednesday, I just kept saying to my son, I'm just so tired. I just don't feel good. And I got home and pretty much, I took the dog out, and then I crawled into bed and I stayed there. And by later that evening, my body hurt. It was not even an ache, it was pain. And throughout the night, it hurt. And when I would move in my sleep, I was in pain. And at one point, the pain was localized to like my upper left abdominal quadrant. And I don't even know if this is where the appendix is. However, in my worst case scenario brain, my appendix was going to burst. And I must have had gluten, and an organ went septic, which is what happened a few years ago with my gallbladder. And so I was just kind of picturing being back in the emergency room and having surgery, and then spiraling into how that would impact me with time off and how many sick days I have, and, all these crazy thoughts. And I woke up Thursday morning really not feeling a whole lot better. Certainly better than I was Wednesday night, but not better than the morning the day before. But I powered through that work day and came home again, went right to bed. But then we had some family things to do that evening. And so I did those things. And then Friday, I seemed to turn a corner. I'm still just kind of having this residual. So I share all that because I still am low key wondering, was this all due to an allergic reaction? And I have acute sinusitis. Was it, really inflammatory towards my sinuses, which then I don't know. I don't know. I could be overthinking this, but I'm tired of being sick and tired, and I just want to feel healthy and good. This final sample I saved for the end because this is a color that I have been really interested in trying, and I don't even know that I appreciated at the time that I got together with Fountain Pen Insanity that they passed this sample on to me. But as I was prepping to do my swatches, it hit me so hard how much I have wanted to try this ink. So I am going to give it a swatch. This one as well did have a little bit of spillage, but there's still probably about 4 mils left. So it was a hefty sample that was provided. Oh, wow. Oh, I like that. All right, so I believe this is pronounced Tasia. Kenshin, if you watch this, feel free to correct me. And it's Ume Murasaki. Wow, this is a really interesting color. It's kind of like a pink with brown on top is how I'm seeing it. Beautiful. Wow. So these are some really gorgeous samples. And as the Tachia dries, I just want to talk about these a little bit. So the Colorverse Hayabusa, I do believe is the same as the sample that Zen of the Pen passed along. So it's a really, to me, it looks like the same purple, keeping in mind it's on 2 different types of paper, but it has the pink shimmer, pink rose gold shimmer. So I do think that these are the same. So that's really nice. I don't tend to gravitate towards purples. That doesn't mean that I won't. I just need to take the plunge. And I imagine I'll probably really enjoy it. It's a beautiful color. The base color reminds me of, I was watching a YouTube video and someone inked up a pen similar to mine, or the same as mine, and they used a nice purple like this. And then you have Diamine Frosted Orchid. And goodness, that has a lot of shimmer to it. It's beautiful. And the shimmer is a silvery color. And then it has this really beautiful plum mauve color underneath. The darker parts look really plum and the lighter parts look mauve to me. And it has really nice shading. So I am really enjoying that. Let me just take that out so that we don't have that getting in the way. And then next up is Shiny Black. So this is a ink that's in my collection. I do really like it. I do use blacks very frequently, and occasionally I'll even want one with a shimmer. So that's really nice. And then Ume Murasaki. That is a really interesting color. Oh, and it looks like there's a sheen to it as well. Just a little bit of a green sheen is coming through. Well, that's fascinating. Yeah, so again, to me, this is a pink that it's almost like brown was plopped on top. And part of why I'm saying that is I've got this little section right here that's it's a light application, not a lot of ink, and that is a dusty pink, but then the rest of it is kind of like a pink chocolate. It's really lovely. All right, so while that is drying down, I am just going to share space here. And I want to take, this is the cream paper that Birmingham Pen Company sent along, and I used a straight edge to remove this so that it would fit on the page. And I'm going to use that same straight edge technique. How do I want to do this? Is that fairly even? Yes, yes. Okay. So I'm just going to pull. And then this part's going to be glued down. So I'm going to do the swatching right here. My fingers have been touching it, but is what it is. All right. This is this is my original bottle. How do I want to do this? I guess like that. And then the other one, and I can tell which one is the replacement because I've kept it in the box. I also will, and I did this with Armadillo, I'll write a little note on here. Ooh. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And then this is the replacement. All right, there's that. I'm just going to put that right here. And this is dry. So I'm not sure. Hopefully you can pick up on a little bit of sheen that comes out in Tassia Ume Murasaki. It's really interesting in the writing because you can, it's almost a marbled effect where the sheen is coming through. So I like that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip that, and I was going to put this right here. And where is, right here. I use my Hobonichi double-sided tape strip. These are, in my opinion, kind of the perfect size. This little, see that little perfection right there? And I'm just going to put that, apparently not straight, but there we go. So just looking at this right now, this has a little bit more yellow coming through versus this is darker. That's really fascinating. I mean, with Birmingham Pen Company inks, you've always got to give them time because as they dry down, they are going to change. Looking over here, these samples, again, these are now over a week old, maybe even close to 2 weeks old, or yeah. And these are two different colors. This is a little, I mean, it's definitely lighter. I think I'm going to say there's a tan coming through versus this is darker and it's a little bit more gray green. This is, I mean, it is a gray green, but it's just lighter. It's cooler. But yeah, look at that. Look at that yellow, that tan. Fascinating. Okay. So there's my addition to the Megalodon journey. And here are the 4 samples, the final 4 samples from Fountain Pen Insanity. So thank you for joining. Thank you for putting up with my sniffles and stuffy nose voice and complaining. Sorry. But I appreciate the time that you spent with me, and I hope that I can see you in my next one.